Vegetarianism is directly related to peace and harmony. See, you are cruel to the animals, you are terrorizing the animals. Then how do you expect humanity to be happy? The basic.
Hello, my dear friends, my dear masters, my dear gods. Welcome to day 4 of this beautiful program called as Holistic Buddha. Let us all now sit in meditation. Kindly take off your spectacles, your glasses. We do not need them. Please find yourself a comfortable position and sit in a comfortable posture. Let us all give time for ourselves. Clasp your hands, fold your legs, close your eyes, and start observing your normal, natural, beautiful, wonderful breath. Ana-Pana-Sati Meditation. Ana means inhale, Apana means exhale, and Sati means to be with. So the time has come for us to be with our breath, to be with our Guru, who's going to show us our path towards enlightenment, towards understanding, towards wisdom, towards clarity, towards compassion, towards love, and toward your heart. Let us get connected to our own heart so that we can get connected to the cosmic heart and acquire the wisdom from the higher worlds through meditation. So, my dear friends, let us all sit in meditation now. Please fold your legs, clasp your hands, close your eyes, and start observing your beautiful, wonderful, natural, simple, normal, easy breath. Let us all meditate, my dear friends. Do not open your eyes whatsoever. No thoughts, no chanting of mantra, nothing whatsoever. Only when you close your eyes will you be able to travel and serve. Observe your breath. No matter what thoughts come, just keep observing your breath. Let us try to find ourselves in this silence. Let us all introduce toward the zero state consciousness, where we all become a zero, nothing. Zero consciousness. You'll be able to find your true self in silence. Let's be with our breath, my dear friends. my dear friends. Now let us all rub your hands together and place them on your eyes for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now slowly remove your hands from your eyes, slowly. And then slowly open your eyes. Thank you very much, my dear friends. You have been doing wonderful meditation for everything that you do. Lots of gratitude. So now I would like to ask my dear friend Smita to come over and take the stage and take us through today's subject, which is acidic and alkaline foods. Yes, Smita.
Thanks, Pravita. Hello friends, welcome today. So to the day 4 of Holistic Buddha. Today I will be talking about acidic and alkaline balance. So we all have heard about acidity and basicity. If you are a science student, you would have definitely learned this as a part of your science subjects, chemistry and things like that. So it is nothing but pH, it's measured with something called the pH value. It's called potential of hydrogen. So if any aqueous liquid is there, so they use that pH value to measure whether it is an acidic liquid or that solution is acidic or basic. So similarly, in our body also, we have a lot of such parameters and we term that as acidic or basic. So if we are predominantly acidic, what happens? If we are predominantly alkaline, what happens? So that is something that we are going to learn today. So what is the meaning of acidity? As I think in the last couple of classes, 2-3 classes, we have also talked about something called the toxemia. So the effect of toxin producing in the body. So what are the yesterday she talked about whole foods and how we tend to intake a lot of processed foods and oils and things like that, and how the toxemia in our body increases. So when we let's go into the depth of all of these things. Now there are 2 organs in the body, predominantly the kidneys and the lungs, that basically expels things that the body does not need, which is majorly acids. So why does this acid happen in the body? It happens because the body does not recognize them in the way they are presented to the body. So let's say, for example, you have somebody coming at your doorstep. You have to understand whether he's a stranger or whether he's a friend. So if he's a stranger, you should understand whether you're going to welcome him inside or you're going to just say no thank you and then send him out. Or if he's a friend, you will anyway welcome him. So like this, the body has its own intelligence and then it is aligned to nature. So if you put things inside the body, or if you think thoughts that are not aligned to your soul, what really happens is the body does not handle it in the way it should. Sometimes, especially in today's lifestyle, we have so much of advancement in science, and we tend to intake a lot of medicines, we intake a lot of processed foods and things like that, which are very, very far away from nature. So when you put that inside the body can't recognize it. And when the body can't recognize it, it tends to store that, or it tends to just try to expel it somehow. So it is like a maze. It's like a black box inside. So whatever the human beings observe as a part of research is through inputs and outputs. But the body is far more intelligent than that. And what we are observing is just the tip of that iceberg. Okay. So the fundamental way, let's say in nature cure, the way we understand the acidic balance or acidic predominance in the body versus alkaline predominance is just by simple thumb rule saying, is this coming from nature? First one. Second one is, can I chew this with my teeth and intake it? So what can you chew with your teeth and intake it? Or what is very close to nature? Majorly that you can chew and intake is fruits, vegetables and greens only. Can you chew anything like grains? Can you chew meat in its original form? And then let's say dairy and other things are anyway not even plants. So any plant-based food in its original form that I can chew and eat is alkaline to my body, which is exactly what the body expects also. It expects the entire human body is supposed to be alkaline in nature. Only the stomach is supposed to be acidic in nature because of hydrochloric acid. So when the entire body expects an alkaline predominance or alkaline balance, then what happens? When we continue to make it acidic, the body tends to go away from that center. Let's say the center is called homeostasis or the balance, alkaline balance. If we tend to make it more acidic, what happens by our wrong choices, or let's say not aligning to nature choices, then it tends to flip like this. So the farther we go from the center, so much is our deviation. This deviation is indicated through all of our problems. Okay. So in science, so let's come to science now. In science, how do they measure these things, or in medicine, in the world, how do they measure this? Is through the way the kidney is functioning or through the way the kidney is excreting. So this US Department of Agriculture, United States Department of Agriculture, came out with a simple formula to measure this. They said every single food, when it is intake and then when it is expelled through our kidneys, see this, there are so many fruits and vegetables like lemon, let's say citrus fruits and all of those things, they are acid predominant. But what we are talking about here, that is potential renal acid load, or that measure, that the formula that USDA came up with is not measured because of the citric acid or the lemon and all of that. It is based on after we intake, and then it mixes with our stomach fluids, and then it goes to the kidneys after the digestion and all of that. Then how does it, how do we measure that? So at that point, they have come to a conclusion that all of the raw vegetables and all of these, so all of the raw vegetables, greens and fruits and vegetables, all of those things are alkaline predominant, which means that when they go through the kidneys, they are highly alkaline in nature and they align with the body's alkalinity. So they don't harm the body in any way. So the way they measure it is minus. They show an indicator of minus in front of that PRAL indicator, and then that is called alkaline. So when it comes to dairy, when it comes to meat and all of those things, it is acidic, which means there is a plus. Even so, see that thumb rule that I told about what I can chew and eat, in that only you can understand that even, for example, your nuts and seeds and all of those things, you can chew, but they are not your food because you can't eat them like your like full stomach. So if you can eat something full stomach, like happily, that is your primary food. So what is it that you can completely eat like that? Only fruits. Even vegetables also we can't eat like that. We can only eat little vegetables because it will also put a lot of strain on our teeth and all that. So comparatively, fruits are the primary foods that we can actually eat for human beings. So of course, because of our the way we have been brought up and all of those things through a lot of evolution and all that, we have now changed our lifestyle. So in that, you can see that grains, flours, nuts, and all of those things are majorly acidic. And of course, all of the non-vegetarian food, processed food, everything that we have been discussing as please don't have it, oils and all of those things are all acidic. Water is neutral. After water, all the alkaline ones and all of those things are generally all the raw foods, majorly all the raw foods. Some grains, some this, some that, some nuts and here and there, they are all alkaline. Seeds and all are alkaline because they have to produce more plants. What is the role of seeds? They have to fall down in the ground and then they have to germinate and produce more plants. So they are all alkaline. So like this, PRAL is measured in PRAL measure stands for all of these things. But then in general, they don't really measure PRAL for each of these things. On a whole day, let's say I ate all of these things. They add up all of that, add, subtract, and all of those things, and come up with a number. And that number, if it is predominantly a plus, then you are acid predominant. If it is a minus, then you are alkaline predominant. So there is something called the net endogenous acid production, which is NEAP. It means that on a daily basis, what kind of excretion are you doing? What is your net acid excretion? If your acid for example, let's say we are producing 100 units or 100 milli equivalents of acids on a daily basis. Typically, this is the studies that have been done was at an Australian diet. So I'm just giving an example because it's very difficult to measure all of these things, but then I'm just bringing science in front of you. So if let's say our net acid production is 100 on a daily basis, let's say today I produce 100, but my capacity to excrete my acid, that is net acid excretion via my kidneys, is only, let's say, 50. What is the balance that I have? I have 50 more. So tomorrow I again produce 100 because I'm leading the same lifestyle. I'm eating the same almost the same breakfast. I'm eating almost the same lunch. I'm eating the same kind of, so it's almost the same way. I'm thinking also the same way. So 100 again the second day. So now I have what? 50 of the previous day, 100 of today, which is 150 units I have. But my body is capable of excreting 50. Given that my body is still having the same potential as yesterday. Okay. So I'm going to be having today 100 balance because I only excreted 50. Now I have 100. On the third day, what happens? It will increase to 150 post excretion. Like this, every single day, given that the body's potential is exactly the same, I'm basically increasing my acidic load on a daily basis. But what happens? Someday we have higher emotions, someday we have lower emotions. We have so many ups and downs on a daily basis. So like this, from a scientific point of view, it's difficult to measure, but I'm just giving you an indicator saying over a period of time, why does our health deteriorate is majorly because we are constantly increasing our acid balance and not even bothering about our acidic alkaline balance. See, on a daily basis, if fruits are my primary foods and fruits, vegetables, and greens, and if I'm constantly eating something apart from that, imagine how much our body is collecting that acidity. So I just come to the next slide now. So here, one more thing that I wanted to share here is the nutrients that contribute majorly to the measurement of acids are something that is after digestion, producing a lot of like phosphorus, and protein produces a lot of acids in the body, and alkaline minerals like magnesium, calcium, potassium, sodium, and all of those things, they produce alkalinity in the body. So all of the raw vegetables and fruits and greens and all, they have alkaline predominance. So when you digest them, the net result of that digestion, the output of that digestion is majorly all of these alkaline minerals. But when you eat animal foods like your dairy, meat, and all of those things, the net result is protein, and phosphorus. And these are very hard for the kidney to expel because only we animals make protein. And if you bring animal food inside you, you're not just having your own protein, you're also bringing the protein from somebody else. So now you'll have excess protein in your body, which again the kidney will have to go through. There are so many people that there's a very huge myth on protein. This protein has come because of the nutrition industry and then let's say the bodybuilding industry and all of those things. But please understand that we make our own protein through the amino acids and all of that, which are coming from natural foods. Naturally, when we align to nature, we make our protein. If you have to make muscles and all of that, you need to exercise. You can't just sit, eat protein and make your muscles. It is impossible. You have to work hard. Our let's say primates or our ancestors, when we were, let's say in the forest and all that, when we were hunter gatherers and all that, we used to really work hard for our living, and our body expects that. Today, you just can't lead a sedentary lifestyle and expect health. So for you to make your own body strong, you have to work harder, and exercises will be covered on another day. But I'm just trying to tell that protein, this protein hype that is there in the market, that is something that you'll have to understand. It is a complete myth, and you can't take protein and build your muscles even if you're going to the gym or something like that. You have to take let's say fruits which are very high in let's say some of these I'll come to that in the exercise chapter because it's quite a big thing. Okay, coming to acids accumulation. How do acids accumulate in our body? And we understood how to measure and all of those things. So now how acids accumulate, especially when we have animal derived foods, cooked foods, all of the oils and greases, excess nuts and seeds. Today, what happens when we suddenly go off and then become plant-based, we think that, oh my God, I'm so deficient and all of that. And then we go excess on our nuts and seeds. That is also very high in fat. See, all nuts and seeds are ultimately meant to germinate new plants. So they have a lot of, protein again in them. And excess will again harm your body. So you need to go in moderation. If you were in the forest, if you had to eat almonds, what should you do? You have to find a tree. Then you'll have to go and climb the tree. Then you'll have to get one almond. And after that, you can't even break that almond with your teeth. You have to find one, some stone or something and then break it. How many such nuts you will eat? Maybe 10. Every day if you have to eat, you will get bored. Think about walnut. If you have to eat a walnut, that shell itself is so hard. So that is not even our food. It is not even our primary food. So going behind non-primary foods is just a waste of time. Having that for pleasure sometime is okay in moderation. But having that, oh my God, I'm not having these omega-3s and all of those things that are there, that is not necessary. They will only lead to excess problems in the body. Next is smoking, drugs, stimulations, and all of our medicines and all of those things are also going to cause excess problems in our body because they are not natural. And many of these things also are fragmented foods. They are not whole foods. Then lack of exercise, leading a sedentary lifestyle, insufficient rest. Today, we all work in offices and we are leading a very fast-paced lifestyle, which is exactly why the food has become such a big problem. So we need everything to be fast, and then go to the office and things like that. So here we are also losing out on all our rest and sleep. Then excess anger, stress, fear, and other negative emotions, which Parinita also mentioned yesterday in the closing of the call. When we do meditations, how it basically neutralizes or it eliminates some of the blocks in our mental and emotional bodies. So these are some things that are stored there. So it is important that these things also affect the body's acidosis because the body is just a reflection of your emotions and mental beliefs. It just shows if there is a pain, it shows that inside there was a pain that emotionally was created and that is now was not handled and hence it got collected somewhere in the body. Now excess unmindful daily activities which are more body conscious, like constantly thinking about something, you're not really happy, you're not joyous, you're not thinking that in every single moment on earth is like a precious moment on earth. I've come here to experience earth, and then when I'm experiencing earth or when I'm cutting my vegetables, it's such a beautiful activity. Or when I'm talking to somebody, it's a beautiful activity. When I'm sweeping, it's a beautiful activity. Because if I'm a soul, I won't be able to even experience all these things. Only in, let's say, Smita's body, I can do a certain things which I cannot do. And Smita's body will never come back again. So I have to be very happy that I've got this body for a certain period of time. It has a shelf life. And I better make use of that body the best possible way. So like that, if we constantly think, then whether I'm doing my activity, whether I'm doing family activity, whether I'm doing somebody else's activity, whole day I'll only be thinking that I'm doing my activity only, right? So when you focus on that kind of things, then that unmindfulness will not be there, you'll be mindful. Then last but one thing is pathogens, scavengers. So when you're not releasing all that excess waste that is produced in the body, what happens? Yesterday we were talking about worms. So before the worms even happen, the fermentation process happens, and you're in the process of fermentation. Why fermentation happens? When the life goes away from that particular food, then yeast, fungus, and all of those things, stage by stage, they will come to, let's say, degrade that food, decompose that food, and take it back to the soil. That is their job. So the Mother Earth has told them, see, or in nature, anything where life goes away from, it is basically getting fermented, and the process of fermentation itself is an act of taking it back to the soil. So here what happens, all of these scavengers find a lot of food in our body, and then they sit and then make that their home. And then when they make that their home and then start to keep eating whatever we produce as waste, they will also release something as an excreta, or they will release their own excretion or feces or poop, and that is even more acidic compared to the acid wastes of our own body. So which is why we have a lot of, let's say, nervous issues and all of those things. Apart from that, we have, let's say, this is also collectively called toxemia or toxins. So the root cause is all of these toxins are the root cause for, let's say, heartburns, ulcers, whatever you name it in the body. Every single problem that medical industry has ever coined comes to a single word called toxemia, and comes to a single word called acid accumulation, and that is lifestyle related. Most of them are lifestyle related. Okay, so this is how acids accumulate. And then when acids, body is supposed to be alkaline. The more the body is alkaline, the healthier the body is. The more the body is acidic, the less healthier the body is. So like in cancer patients, the body and the blood and the fluids are all predominantly acidic in nature. So to bring from the acidic state to the alkaline state, it takes a lot of work, which means we have to pump the body and the mind with only alkaline dominant thoughts, alkaline dominant foods. So it's like I told you about that NEAP, right? NAEP. So the more your body is generating acidity, what happens is the body ages very fast. So so today, if you see many children who are on a lot of dairy and a lot of non-vegetarian food and all that, the body cells which accumulate acids deteriorate very fast. They age very fast. So the maturity in the children these days is very fast. The boys look older very fast. The gray hairs, they develop gray hairs very fast. There's a lot of issues, hormonal issues in children, like PCODs and many of the periods issues and all of those things are very, very high today. Why? Because the body is aging very fast, and they are becoming, they hit puberty very, very fast. So all of these things are because the body thinks that acids are accumulating more. So it is dying. Everything is dying in the body. So the more death-like situation happens in the body, happens only when there are acids. Okay. So what is alkaline balance means? Alkaline balance, when it happens, like I said, consuming a lot of fruits, vegetables, and greens, and then sufficient physical exercises, not overdoing physical exercise, let's say running whole day or doing only physical exercise. Of course, if your job is that, then your foods also have to contribute to that much of extent. Your foods and your rest and everything. As far as I know, a person even in the profession of such thing where, let's say they're bodybuilders, or let's say they are into sports or something, they have specific days to take rest, because during the rest only the body builds. And then meditation, very important. Meditation brings a lot of energy, and then it helps us to live mindfully. Swadhyay. Swadhyay gives you the knowledge. See, when meditation brings you the energy, how will you use that energy? If you don't have knowledge to use that energy will anyway go back to the ground. So that energy should be channeled. How? To the right places. And that you can understand only by reading the right books and by participating in satsangs, conversations with like-minded people, where they talk about these things again and again and again. So otherwise what happens is, in our daily mundane lifestyle, we completely forget about what is the right thing. Today you might learn everything on holistic Buddha, but then if you are not constantly coming back to these recordings and again seeing these things, or if you've made notes, going back to your notes again and again, you'll just forget in your lifestyle, and you'll go back to, oh, did this plant-based lifestyle workshop, did it even happen? What did they say? It will become like that. So it is very important for you to be meditation, swadhyay, sajjana sangatya, being plant-based. All of these things are PSSM's, values also. And hence it is very important, because they did not create those values, they did not create those points, which laws just like that. Patriji knew that they're all necessary for a person to grow spiritually and realize his own self. Just like that, only meditation he did not say. Just like that, he did not say only read spiritual books. Just participate in conversation. It's a package. Having the right foods, having just the amount of physical exercises, meditation, sajjana sangatya, then practicing positive thing. Practicing, okay, all of these things will anyway teach you. They'll give you seeds. But if you are not practicing this on a daily basis, whatever you learned from all of these things, by using the energy of meditation, it is again a big waste, right? So it is important, very important to practice. Practicing without practicing, which is called vijnanam. It's called vijnanam. Whatever you get in all of these things is jnanam, and then this is vijnana. So only through vijnana or science, application of that wisdom, so getting wisdom is very important. And exposure to natural elements, sunbathing, exposing yourself to the sun every day is very important, because sun is a healer. Sun heals. Many people don't go out in the sun thinking that they'll have sunburns and all that. See, when sunburns happen, it means that you have already a lot of toxemia inside. See, when toxemia happens, what is happening is the blood is carrying a lot of carbon dioxide, and lots of grease and other things inside the body, which naturally burns when you get exposed to the sun. And that's why sunburn, skin issues, and all of these things happen when you get exposed to the sun. But what is sun trying to do? Sun is trying to bring out all of these toxins outside the body. Sun is trying to do his best, which is the right thing. But we don't like it, and hence we try to cover it with sunscreen lotions and all that, which is again not at all necessary. Anything that you put on your body which is not food, or made with ingredients that you can put in your mouth, or you cannot put in your mouth, that will again go back from the skin into your liver and again create toxemia inside your body. So we need to be very mindful of reading labels and all that, which we'll cover in one of these days. Okay. So the last slide that I wanted to cover here is important of right hydration. So the human body is 70% water, 70 to 80% we are made up of liquids, which is exactly the same as what Earth is made up of. Earth is also made up of 70% liquids. It has oceans and rivers and all of those things. If you see the globe, it is mostly blue, and then less of all that land mass. Similarly, even in our body, we have a lot of liquids, and compared to the solid mass inside our body. Hence, it's important for us to pay attention to the hydration levels inside the body. So if you look at a regular lifestyle of anybody, they are hardly drinking any water. So most of the entire planet, people on the planet are majorly dehydrated. And that is where most of the issues start in the physical body. Apart from, let's say, the mental draining and all that. At a physical level, dehydration is the major cause. Dehydration doesn't mean you have to get admitted to the hospital and all that, but dehydration before that level where it becomes fatal actually is still dehydration only. So here, what should we do? We should think, if you're not, let's say 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, all that we are having in between, we are having just enough water to quench our thirst, or something like that. So that is not enough. That is definitely not enough on a daily basis. And what we also do is, many of us go to offices where there is no proper restrooms. So what we do, we are traveling, we have a traveling kind of job and all that. What we do, we don't even drink water, because especially ladies, they don't drink water at all, and because of the bathrooms and all of those issues. And then we develop a lot of these constipation issues, we develop a lot of urinary tract infections, and all of those things are let's say the outcomes of all of these reservations that we have. So earth and human body are very, very close to each other. The way the earth functions, similarly even we function. So our organs are predominantly made up of water, and a baby, it is almost 95% water. It is like watermelon. So imagine, if you look at your baby, you don't feel like it's like watermelon, but actually it's like a watermelon if you completely measure the water component in the baby. So the juices, although they are not whole foods, we were talking about whole foods yesterday. Juices are not whole food. But what has happened is, juices are something that has come to me as as an experience right from the time I started in 2012. When I was facing a lot of life-threatening issues, and I went through allopathy, homeopathy, and allopathy and all of those things, nothing really worked for me. At that time, I was pointed to a source who told me about something about the liquids, the way liquids function in our body and all of that. So I grabbed that fact, because I was very desperate for healing. So I grabbed that fact of information and I started to work on it at a more theoretical level. I got it. And then to some extent, I was able to even converse with that person. The person who told me just kept assuring me that I'm on the right path. When the body needs rest, when it wants to flush, when the physical toxins have to be flushed out of the body, it needs to have a lot of liquids. For example, why does tsunami and all of those things happen? Because the land has developed a lot of waste. So the tsunami, there is some imbalance on Earth. To neutralize that imbalance, Mother Earth generates a lot of these natural calamities. And then she tries to balance herself. That is her way of balancing herself. Similarly, when we have a lot of toxins, what happens? The body tries to express itself outside. Initially, it doesn't express. It will just hold everything inside. But one threshold limit will get crossed, and after that, the body tries to express itself through colds, coughs, fevers, and all of those things. Then what happens? The body physically has accumulated a lot of toxins because of, let's say, wrong eating habits, thinking habits, organ not functioning properly, all of those things. Now, those things have to be taken to the kidneys and expelled outside, because there is only lungs expels, but not so much, because we are not breathing properly on a daily basis. Rhythmic breathing and all we don't do. So that's why we have to depend on the kidneys to function, to eliminate. So at that time, what happened? Intuitively, I understood that liquids are necessary for us to flush these toxins. So although juices are not whole in nature, I understood that juices really help us. Why? In the past, our practitioners, the stalwarts of nature cure have explained that whole foods are the best form of foods for our body. But unfortunately, today, where we are very high on chemicals and medicines and negative thoughts and fast-paced lifestyles and all of that, which was not there in the past when those teachers spoke about everything, the right ways of living, it was not there. Today's lifestyle is very, very different from the lifestyle that was there in the past. So for today's times, we need a lot more, a lot of hydration inside our body and a lot more alkalinity inside our body, a lot more nutrition inside our body to flush out these toxins. And hence, juices are the purest form of water, bioavailable water, nutritious bioavailable water that is important for our body to have on a daily basis to flush out these toxins. It is not, I'm not saying that you keep making the toxins and keep drinking juices. That doesn't work. You have to mindfully take the juices and also mindfully work on the other aspects, which I explained in the previous slide, the maintaining the alkaline balance. Then what happens? Predominantly, you will not fall sick at all. You will consistently keep going. Initially, let's say you are very, very sick, and then you start consuming juices, fruits, and all of those things. And then slowly, your alkaline balance will start to increase. You have started to excrete the acids out in the form of pains, problems, loose motions, vomitings, and all that. It has to go. You cannot keep everything inside, put medicines inside your body and keep it inside because you don't like loose motions, you don't like vomiting or something. You have to allow loose motions to happen, and then you have to align with the body and say, okay, you're having loose motions now, you're excreting the form of loose motions. So I will not overload you with more food. I'd rather give you rest today. You let the loose motions and all that happen. Then when I become hungry again, when the body again says I'm hungry, then I'll give you the right foods. But until then, I'll give you a break. That is the way we have to align. In nature cure, we have to become partners with the body. We should not say that body, whatever you're doing, I don't like, and I'm going to put medicines inside you, whether it is Ayurvedic medicines, homeopathy medicines, any medicine. If your attitude is, I want to suppress this, I don't like this pain I don't like, that I don't like, this I don't like. So this likes and dislikes that we battle with on a daily basis, that has to stop. We'll have to surrender to the body's needs because it is a highly intelligent thing ever created in the cosmos. So to protect this, we need to align with that. It knows best how to heal itself. We have to become proper assistants to the body. So when the body is trying to expel the junk out, at that time, we have to give body rest by giving juices. See, initially what happens, fasting is the best way. In the past, our rishis and munis and all used to just fast, like how our dogs and all that, right? They just fast when they are sick. But today, with the kind of toxic overload that we have in the body, just dry fasting will not at all work, because at that, in a dry environment, the toxicity becomes even more high. The scavenger population becomes even more high. So then your problems become even more high. The symptoms become even more worse. So at that time, we have to go first to juices. Then juices will start to clean up the body. Over time, you can train yourself on water fasting, and then you can eventually do dry fasting. But right from sickness, you can't start off with dry fasting because you need to train your body. See, it's like you can't just force your body because your mind and knowledge is saying that is the right thing to do. You should see whether the body in today's condition, am I prepared to do that kind of a fasting? So it is important for you to understand that juices will help the body to get more nutrition without having to digest it. It is a pre-digested nutrition. So body will automatically readily get nutrition, and it will take all that energy that it is having to clean the body when it is necessary. So on a daily basis, when you have juices, what happens is the body cleans up. Body is basically flooding itself with nutrition and flooding itself with high liquids, and from the kidneys on a daily basis, things are getting expelled out. Another thing that I found out as a part of my experiences, when we are constantly high on juices on a daily basis, we will tend to, we'll tend to inherit the properties of liquids in our life. What is the property of liquids? To take the shape of the container. So if your container or an environment, if you're in an environment where you have a lot of rigidity in you as of now, so which means, let's say, if you have a solid block of ice, and that solid block of ice is rigid because there is no melting is not happening. So that solid block of ice, you just cannot put it in any shape or any container and expect it to fit into that container. But whereas water can do. So what will happen is that rigidity that is there inside you will melt when the more and more liquids come into the body. Masaharu Emoto had conducted experiments on liquids, on water, majorly water experiments. And he started speaking loving words to the water. And then he also started speaking hateful words to the water, and he conducted experiments. Wherever there were loving words created, and he froze those crystals, froze the water, and then saw that under a microscope. It was a beautiful crystal, water molecule. But whereas when he saw that hateful words, that was really not at all in a proper shape and form and all that. It was very ugly. So that is when, and we are 70% water. So imagine when we are speaking hateful things, when we are thinking hateful things, when we are thinking all these negative thoughts and emotions, we are programming that on all our water crystals inside our body. Predominantly we are all water crystals, imagine how much of negative crystals or oddly shaped crystals we'll have inside our body. So hence, it is very important that when we bring in all these juices from fruits and vegetables, which are very high in prana, very high in vitality and energy, they tend to, our body cells try to align with them, and then they try to take the shape of whatever the water molecules bring in. And then from a mindset perspective, we tend to surrender more with life, accept more with life, be more joyful, be more happy, irrespective of whatever is your life, wherever you are. You have a very, let's say, abusive environment, you have this kind of environment, that kind of environment, whatever environment nature has placed you in, or your soul plan has placed you in, you will learn to be happy. And that I've seen consistently after working with my clients and also in my own life. Consistently, we start moving towards a spiritual path, even without understanding what is spiritual, because the soul is naturally guided or aligned to or programmed to take us towards that path or soul realization or towards our Purnatma. Hence, water helps us to get, not just water, juices help us to get there. Over time, when the body is trained and the toxemic level is very, very low, then water fasting will become very easy. And that water fasting helps us to get to higher spiritual energies even more faster. But to get there, we need to first clean up the body. And cleaning up the body through juices is one of the best ways. And if you are on juice fasting and all of those things, we will tell you what is the best thing to do during the suggested diet program and all of those things, or in one of these days we will talk about it also. Okay, so overall this is what I wanted to cover. If you all have any doubts, you can ask now. Thank you. Yes, please. What was the, so I'm just taking questions. What was the link between not breathing properly and more load on kidneys because of that? See, both the lungs and the kidneys are eliminatory organs, and when the acid balance is very high in the body, the lungs also tend to suffer. Almost all the body parts tend to accumulate toxins, and breathing becomes a problem. So, and kidneys is a separate problem because it is handling toxic blood. So maybe in this class, it may be very difficult for me to cover the details of how the body functions, like how the process of digestion happens and all of those things. But just understand that the acids accumulate at all the body part levels. See, for example, when it comes to animals, we are also animals. Animals are also having the same way of body working. Many people who tend to feed on meat and all of that, they don't understand that it doesn't, like, let's say there's a part of the rotten tomato, we cut off that rotten part of the tomato and then we use the rest of the parts. Because it's a plant, plants work differently. But in an animal, what happens, we just cannot cut off the cancerous part of an animal part and then believe that rest of the body part of that animal is edible. It doesn't work like that with animals. Then if there is one cancer in the body, in some part, the entire body has cancer. So those will also come into our body when we consume that. And a butcher doesn't have the training to understand all of those things at a scientific level. Hence, it's very important that consuming meat is very dangerous. It has a lot more acidity compared to vegetarians, but vegetarians also have a problem. Vegetarianism was okay in the past when people did not know enough about what is milk, where it is coming from, how it affects the body and all that. But today we have all that knowledge, we have all the data, we have all of those things to understand that not just animal eating animals, but even eating animal fluids also have a problem in the body. So anything coming to animals is like, we have to just leave them alone. We have to have the plants because we are just meant for eating plants. Second question that I saw was Ranjita, both are elimination channels. Okay, do we have history of curing varicose veins? Yeah, sure. Varicose veins is also something that is again because of lifestyle, and varicose veins also gets cured once the right lifestyle choices are adopted. And diabetic, when, like Asha was saying yesterday, when we give you generic principles and answers here, it means that you are not you don't have a lot of problems in your life in terms of health. So you can just take theory and you can adopt it in your life, and then you can aram se move on. But when it comes to some complex cases, let's say in diabetes, we don't know whether that person is on insulin, how many years he spent being a diabetic patient. So then when generic answer saying, yes, they can do juice fasting, what kind of juice, how frequently they'll have to measure that sugars, when they'll have to think about their medicines. So there is a lot of complexity involved where they have to be monitored on a day-to-day basis. But diabetes is one of the fastest to be reversed. Diabetes is definitely reversible. You don't need medications at all. And all that it takes is just a lifestyle change. It needs some amount of hand-holding for the diabetic question. One we explained about water diet. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Okay. To avoid acid accumulation to my daughter who is 10 years old, what should I give as a substitute to milk and vitamin D, as the vitamin D reading is only 4? See, vitamin D, Neha Agarwal, is low across the planet because we have lost a lifestyle where we basically work in the sun on a daily basis. Whole day we are not working in the sun. If you look at people like construction workers and all who are out in the sun all day, their vitamin D levels will be very high, all normal. But vitamin D levels will be very depleted for people who are inside the house, working for offices. So it's all a first world problem. So hence, I suggest that you expose a child a lot to sunlight and don't worry a lot about vitamin D and all of those things. Initially, it feels like vitamin D, or if I don't have vitamin D, these are the problems. But once you start correcting her fundamentals like removing animal milks, 10-year-olds, in my opinion, don't need any milk on a daily basis. Even plant-based milk also, they don't need on a daily basis. Babies, I can understand. But 10-year-olds, you give them juices, give them smoothies, those kinds of things, their health will be much, much more better than just giving them plant-based milks. See, milk after a certain age should be restricted majorly to some occasional drinks, but or maybe some kheer and all that, but not having on a daily basis. I hope that answers. Expose her to the sun for D. You said fruits are the best and closest to nature food to have. So why do we have juices? Is it okay? Okay. So yes, coming back again to that point, fruits are whole. It is very important to have whole foods also. But when we have juices, what happens? The damage we've created, the abuse that we've created in our body for the lifestyle that we are facing will be undone without the body having to work for that again. Because let's say if the body doesn't have energy, you have taken the body to a certain extent where it doesn't have that energy. If you eat fruits and then you'll have to heal, the body will have to break down that food, take that nutrition from that food, and then heal itself. But you are not stopping, right? You are also going to office. You are also negative thinking. You are doing all those things that you were doing in the past. So where is the body getting enough energy, or you're not saving enough energy for the body? If you're thinking that I'm going to eat and then heal myself, you'll have to rest predominantly. switch off all your body parts, close your eyes, sit in silence, and then hopefully at that time the healing will be faster. Because in tomorrow's class, I'll deal about something called vital economy. So there I'll talk about energy management. So here you should understand that juices are not whole, but I'm giving juices to slowly pump the body to start healing by itself. Today, it may not be ready to heal by itself in the current condition, in your current lifestyle. So slowly, if I give some amount of easy nutrition, easy fluids to the body, it will be able to clean it up faster and then take you to a level where it will be able to efficiently function. Okay, I hope I've answered that. So many people can ask me, when we do juices, what do I do with the fiber? So there is no point in having the fiber after the juicer eliminated that fiber, because the idea of having juice was to not have that fiber. We are already having fiber when we have fruits. We are already having fiber when we have vegetables. That is going to come as a part of the diet chart. So when we are having whole and juicy stuff already, and you try to think about that, oh my God, this is becoming a waste, so I'll just dump it into my body. What happens when you dump it into your body? The body will have to again work on it. So the whole effect of giving it some amount of easy nutrition and easy cleaning up effect will basically be nullified, or it'll just knock it off. So hence juices are necessary for detoxification. So you can use that pulp and then put it back to nature and compost. Start doing composting in nature, and then that is the best way to give it back to nature. Or if you have cows around your house, go and feed the cows. That way the cow will do its composting inside the stomach, and then that will anyway be taken care of. But putting back that inside your body is not a good way to heal. Okay, so juices can be had with, so juices can be combined, vegetable, fruit, greens, all of those things can be combined into one juice, and also you can consume it. So there is no problem, unless and until you are diabetic. We don't ask diabetic patients to immediately start consuming fruit juices, because the body is not ready. It's not that the sugar was bad. The fructose in the fruit is very, very good for the body, but their body is not ready. So initially they'll have to do only vegetable juicing, and slowly, as the body heals, they can incorporate fruit juices also, and then slowly continue with all that. So it's best since we can't eat a lot of vegetables in that quantity, you should juice a lot of vegetables like ashgard, cucumber, all of those things. You can juice a lot of that. On top of that, if you like some sweet, put some watermelon, put some grapes, apple, carrot, beetroot on top of that. Always look for fruits and vegetables in nature that already have a lot of liquid in them. When you bring in 10 different items and say, okay, I'll combine all these items, the pulp will be this much. Juice will be this much. Your juice should be this much, the pulp should be this much. So the pulp that is coming out should be very less. So you'll have to pick items that are already very juicy in nature. That is why nature has produced that. In the past, what happened? We were not having the luxury to juice. Eating fruit itself was a very big luxury. There were battles and droughts and famine and all of those things our ancestors have faced. So at that time, what happens? We won't be able to do juicing, because eating itself is a big problem, or getting nutrition itself was a big problem. So they would just eat whatever they get, because they had to survive. And also, we didn't have things like BWSSB that we have in Bangalore today, where water supply gives us water. Those days, mothers or the ladies of the house, they had to go to the river, carry pots of water and come back home. Today, when we say water is very essential, 70% water and all that logic, if I go back in time and tell them, they will tell, keep all that knowledge to yourself. We can't afford all that. We will tell our children, drink water only when you're thirsty, because I can't afford to keep going to the river like that. And rivers may dry up also. So there was a lot of hardships that people have faced at that time, and rules have majorly come because of all those hardships. In today's time, we have abundance. Nature has given us blessing of abundance. Today, we have to it's the time to go back to nature. That's why nature is showing itself everywhere. It's showing itself in fruits, vegetables, and vendors are everywhere these days. So take the sign from nature. Use nature as much as possible. Do a lot of juicing, do a lot of eating of fruits, do a lot of eating of vegetables, greens. How much we have in abundance these days, friends. So this is a sign from nature for you to go back to your roots, which is to depend on nature more. And the more you depend on nature, the less you'll depend on your groceries. And the less you'll depend on medicines, the less you'll put money in the pharmaceutical industry. And your own, and here, even if you spend more money today on fruits, vegetables, and greens, there is 100% ROI, return on investment. But when you put it on all of those acidic foods, there is no ROI. You're just eating it for pleasure. Ultimately, it will all go to some doctor or some insurance company or some something somewhere. There is no guarantee. Hence, today, health is in our hands. Death is pre-programmed. We have only planned all that. But as long as we are alive, we need to be healthy. We have a moral obligation to take care of this body. It is a loan or it's a rented vehicle given by Mother Earth to us. It is a fundamental dharma to take care of this body. It is a temple. We should not treat it like trash by putting whatever we want inside this. We have to understand what are the implications of eating this food. Just because my ancestors were eating doesn't mean I have to eat it. I have intellect to take care of my body for the current times. I don't have to think about what my mother told, what my grandmother told, what my grandmother ate. That is not the way to go in future. If we have to go and then get into Patriji's way of self-realization, you need to think for yourself. He did not say you do this, you do that. He did not really dictate terms to people at all. He just said, you will understand what to do if you follow your own intuition. And what is that intuition telling? That intuition is saying, think what is right for you, not because what your grandmother told you, what they ate. Traditional foods, ancestral foods, all that is old school. So think about today, friends, think about today. You have so much of greens, so much of good foods in the market. So please continue to have that. Okay, so
and we have Prashant. Can you please you can ask your question, Prashant.
Yes, Prashant.
Thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful session. I have 2-3 quick questions. One is, how much water should be consumed in a day?
What I suggest typically is at least 3 to 4 liters on total liquids, 3 to 4 liters. At least when let's say the body is very chronic and all of that, at least 1.5 of juices, and rest of it can be water, tender coconut, lemon water, and all of that. But overall, keep your liquids very high, at least to start with. Later on, what happens when your body is already very healthy and few years down the lane, little bit here and there is okay. Even when you're just say on 1 liter of water and majorly on raw and all that, it becomes okay. But to start with, it's best to be on high water. And don't compromise just because you got busy with something and all that. So it's very important.
My another question was, nowadays, most of the fruits come with pesticides. So what would you recommend to get rid of the pesticides before those can be consumed or turned into juices?
See, don't worry about pesticides at all, because like I said, the energy of these fruits and vegetables or the nutrition in the fruits and vegetables are still high compared to the pesticides, even if they come with pesticides. Let's say at an energy level, if we look at fruits which are organic, they may be high. Let's say they are this much. The pesticide fruit may be this much, but still this is better than we are here. Okay, we are still lower compared to the pesticide level of that energy also. We are still lower. So in my clients, hundreds of clients I have already done, but in them, very, very few are on organic foods because it's not affordable. It's yet not affordable. So even without having that also, people heal majorly because of alignment of the mind and all of those points that I mentioned. it perfectly works very well. So when we surrender to nature, if you have pesticide food only available in front of you, she will heal you with that itself. Let's say today, tomorrow, if you can afford organic, she will decide when you're ready for organic, that also will come in front of you because you're okay with anything that she gives. So that surrender and a total acceptance of everything, right, will definitely heal you. Ultimately, we have to go and forget about all of these external entities to heal us. But until we get there, we need to depend on all of these things.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes, Govati Nagendra.
Hi, Gomti. You have to unmute yourself.
Hi, Smita. Thanks for the beautiful session. Just wanted to know how, what is a better way to consume these nuts, whether it is to be soaked and consumed?
Yeah, it's best to soak and consume the nuts.
Okay,
Because what happens is when the nuts are in that dry status, they are also almost like a dead because they are dry. So what happens when you put them in water is they absorb the energy from water and they get the instructions that they'll have to germinate. All the seeds are basically going to bring more plants, right? So they think that once water enters them, life comes into them, and then they are now restarting, or that dormant life that was there inside them is now going to get activated, and then they get that life. So when we eat foods with pranic or prana inside them, it actually helps us. Plus, eating a hard nut and putting it into our digestion is far more complex compared to softer things.
So on empty stomach, which is the nut you tell it's good to have? Any nut on empty stomach?
No, it's best to have fruits on empty stomach. Nuts are just for pleasure, that's all.
Okay.
Not as a dose on a daily basis. Because they are not our primary foods.
Okay. Thank you, Smita.
Aman Doad. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name correctly.
Yes, Aman.
Aman, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah. Thanks. Give me 1 sec. I was just unmuting myself. That's road. That's very simple. It's like the road.
Okay,
It's spelled very, very, very similarly. So sorry, I'm just trying to bring this up. Okay. No, so I just typed my question again in the the second question I had. There's this person called Dr. Gandray. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's done a lot of research on lectins also, besides lactose and gluten causing irritability and allergies, etc. He's found that a lot of lectins in legumes and vegetables, some of the vegetables, nightshade vegetables, also affect the gut. And one thing he says is that cashew is not a nut. It's more like a legume, and it shouldn't be consumed like a nut. But in vegan lifestyle, and he's got research, but it's backed by research, not any crap. So, but in vegan lifestyle, they lay a lot of, they use cashews in a lot of different dressings and stuff. So I just had that question.
See, like I said, when we go to the first the pral indicator that I mentioned, when we see nuts, we have to see where cashew nuts fall. We have to see where these items that we intake falls in that particular thing, and compared to the body's acidic levels already. So if my body's acidic levels are already high, then I may not even be able to take cashews, even though maybe they are slightly alkaline. But a person who has already detoxed may take the same cashews and still be okay, and nothing may happen in the gut. So it depends on how body works on the food and not the food working on the body. Food does not work on the body. It's the body's condition that works on the food. The food may be the great thing, but depends on our body's condition. The food is acceptable or not acceptable.
Right. Thank you, Aman. And one question is, after fasting for 7 days, what should we eat?
Sorry, I didn't. Is that in the chat?
Yeah, it's in the chat. What should we eat after fasting for 7 days?
Okay. After fasting for 7 days. So I don't know what you're fasting for 7 days on and why you're fasting and what is your condition of fasting. So I may not be able to answer that question. Sorry. How does BP take to reverse? So again, blood pressure is again a lifestyle issue. Because the blood has become very thick due to all the toxins that it is carrying. The thickness becomes more like a, heavy, more like a syrup. And then the heart has to work a lot more harder to suck it from every artery and every vein. And that's why the pressure of the heart increases, and that's why it's called BP. So once we start doing lifestyle corrections and clean up all these toxins, the blood will automatically thin down to whatever it's supposed to, and the heart will ease up and the blood pressure also goes down. So Dr. Poonam, if you want to take a personal consultation, you can just message me offline. When we do canned juices, please don't do canned juices. It will also have a lot of preservatives. It will also have a lot of sugar. It will have a lot of these things. Please don't use anything coming from a bottle. You should read your ingredients. Let's say every day I'm doing my juices, but tomorrow I'm going out on some vacation or something. I want to still consume my juices. There are definitely some manufacturers in Bangalore, in India, who do cold pressed juices, and they are all vacuumed, and they don't have any additives in them. Such juices can be occasionally consumed, but definitely it is going to be much more costly for you to buy that on a daily basis and then keep doing it. So it's best you do juices fresh at home. Even if you are able to do it in the morning and consuming it in the evening in the fridge also, that's okay. But try to do it at home and then drink it. Can I mix fruits when having juicing? Please explain the combination. Sure, you can mix any liquid. See, banana cannot become juice. Papaya cannot become juice. Similarly, ashgard can become juice. Cucumber can become juice. Carrot can become juice. Grape can become juice. Apple. All of these things can be combined. Even greens, spinach, mint. When you are able to extract it, let's say either in a juicer or mixie, and then filter it, that all can become juice. So any liquid, as long as it is a liquid, it is called juice. And then you can consume it. Don't worry about pesticides, Prashant. I think I already explained it.
Can we use frozen fruit for smoothies?
See, frozen fruits are already dead. So if you just want it for the taste purposes, it is not going to really help your body. But if you want to have fruits and also get that body has to be benefited and all of that, use fresh fruits.
Right. Are citrus fruits and lime or lemon acidic?
Yes, they are acidic outside the body, but once they get mixed up with our body fluids, which is our hydrochloric acid and stomach fluids and all of that, they become highly alkaline. So hence they are very important. That's why many people, as soon as they have citrus and lemon and all that, they tend to have cold and cough and all that, because the body is trying to detox them. Anything that comes out of the body when you eat fruits and vegetables and all, it is because the body is trying to detox you. It is, let's not blame the fruits and vegetables. We have to still continue to keep taking them. Then more and more will keep coming out. The tank will become empty, and one day all your cold will go off.
Wonderful. How do you break a juice fast?
So typically, if you are doing a juice fast, best to break it with a fruit, a juicy fruit like a watermelon.
Right. So how do we determine PRAL, and how do we determine what is the state of our body?
I think it's a little complex if you go there, because our mind will become more enervated when we continue to keep measuring all these things on a daily basis. So like I said, the fundamental rule is anything that is coming from plant that you can chew and eat is absolutely alkaline. And the more of that you can eat to fill your stomach, that is the most alkaline. And the, what do you say, the amount of pral or alkalinity reduces as and when you go from that state, from that level. So just think in that logic, and then you should be able to come to your answer. See, today it's difficult to measure because we have sambar, rasam. Now there is dal. Now there is dal coming, vegetable coming inside it. There is one tamarind coming inside it. Rasam powder. Now rasam powder has so many items in it. So how can we pral this? It's so complex, right? So hence, let's not even go there. Let's think that, okay, this rasam has really come very, very far from a plant. I'd rather maybe at least some amount of rasam that you can think very close to a plant is, let's say, take tomato, grind it, and just put whatever spices you have to it, and it becomes rasam. Instead of putting dal and all of those things. So the less complex your food is, the much better it is to your body. The farther it comes from a plant, the more complex it is for your body.
Wonderful. Isn't it wonderful today? This session has been really wonderful. Really very insightful, very eye-opening. And I'm sure most of our audience's questions have been answered. Some of them, most of them in the presentation, most of them in the question and answer session. So, my dear friends, thank you so much for being such a wonderful audience. And just wanted to share one of Patriji's favorite quotations today in front of you, which is, you create your own reality. You create your own reality. It is not an idea, it's not a thought, it's not a concept, it's not a fantasy, it's not nothing. This is 100% fact, this is 100% truth, which works on each and every human being. This is a fact. You create your own reality is a fact. As Smita said, lifestyle issues, these issues, your habits, the way you live, the way you eat, the way you do everything, all will impact on your health. So you have actually created how your body is right now. You have created it. So when you have created it, it is our responsibility. As Smita said, our body is a temple, and we need to take care of our temples first. Because only through this vehicle, if only this vehicle is healthy, we can do something, we can achieve something, we can dream, we can, go for our visions or goals. So let's take care of this body as much as possible, but then relax yourself. Relax yourself. Don't take this too seriously as well. Just know what the right food is. Fill it, shut it, forget it. So that is what we need to do, and whatever we have done in the past is what we are now, and what we do now will be our future. So what kind of reality have you created in the past? You know now where you are born, how are you doing, everything. That is whatever you are experiencing right now is what you have created for others in the past. So now our duty is to realize what we are doing in the past towards others, how we are speaking, how we are thinking, how we are interacting with others, how we are relating with others, how we are, interacting with others. This is all what we are creating our own future. So we create our own future. What you do now, what you think now, what you speak now, what you emote now is what you're going to create your own future. So that is what I wanted to share with you, Patriji's favorite quotation, as you say, but it's not just a quotation. It's a reality, it's the truth. What goes around comes around. What goes around comes around, my dear darlings. And you have to be very, very careful as to what you are going to, what you're giving out, what kind of energy that you're giving out to the universe. The same universe will give you the same energy back. So give back what you want to receive. That's the thing. Give to others what you want to receive. So concentrate on what you want to receive and give the same thing. It's as simple as that. So we make our life very complicated, but in essence, our life is very, 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 very simple. It's the simplest. But this thing doesn't let us sleep well, doesn't let us think well, doesn't let us live well. This thing, that is why meditation has come in our lives. So that we can shut it up. Oh my God, now you have to shut up. Now let me connect to my heart. So that is what meditation is all about. Meditate, create your own reality, create a beautiful future for yourself, create a lovely, healthy, wonderful future for yourself. And now is the time. Now you decide what kind of future you want with the help of these beautiful ladies. And that's what I wanted to share, my dear friends. So thank you so much for joining us on day 4. We will see you again tomorrow. And tomorrow's subject will be vitality and energy, vital forces. So tomorrow, do not forget to join us again. We'll have lots and lots of knowledge and discussion and question and answers.
Tomorrow's topic is the key. Let's say, I should say, it's one of the fundamental takeaway. If you understand tomorrow, you will be able to live any kind of life, and you'll be able to manage yourself in any situation.
Yes.
What we are teaching is not impossible, friends. We want to make this presentation. We wanted to bring this knowledge to you just to understand that it is easy to live this life. It is not complex. You just need to know some fundamentals and apply the rules, and you'll be okay.
Right. Guys, please take Smita's advice. Please take Smita's advice and make your body as healthy as possible, as much as you can, and also do meditation. Smita,
meditation will become very, very effective if your body is clean and it's it's detoxed and all that. Then you don't have to spend a lot of time in meditation detoxing. You should spend then a lot of time connecting, seeing all those higher realities.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
we have a lot of work when we go to the astral world. So waiting for us to get to that level.
Absolutely. So meditation and taking care of yourself during meditation, taking care of yourself after coming out of meditation are both important. So please take care of yourself every day. Do come back. This is just the 4th day. We have a lot more coming up, a lot more knowledge coming up. Stay tuned. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you on day 5.